Good morning. Today I want to talk about insecurity. I think the best way to deal with insecurity is to accept ourselves for who we are, not saying to ignore, but rather to acknowledge and overcome these insecurities. The change in mindset can go a long way, and I know this explanation sounds perversely counterintuitive, but it's true. If we have insecurities in our relationship, I think it starts by taking accountability that you may be the problem. Because if we have insecurity in our relationships, our minds, if they're running off insecurities, it creates lies that we begin to believe, which destroys relationships. That stuff doesn't happen. That stuff isn't happening. You're just making that reality. Or maybe you're not practicing compassionate self-talk, gratitude, setting realistic goals. You're still comparing yourself to others. You're not focusing on your strengths. Maybe that has a lot to do with your insecurity. Not too long ago, sorry, I'm trying to fix this, it just fell. Not too long ago, I heard someone say the best way to overcome insecurity is to starve it, which makes a lot of sense because if you feed into it or indulge in these insecurities, they only grow in our minds. So say you're insecure about your appearance. What are you going to do? You're going to seek reassurance in your friend, in your partner. And what is that doing? That's only feeding into it. So starve that insecurity. Of course, acknowledge it, just like your emotions. Acknowledge them, but don't feed into them. That applies to a lot of things. I think the only practical way to fight insecurity is to be aware of it, even when it subtly rises, or, because essentially anything that you starve will inevitably die. That's just the way life works. I'm not trying to presuppose that all insecurity is inherently flawed, but rather that just trying to push healthy ways to handle insecurities, because a lot of people will take routes of plastic surgery rather than proper dieting and going to the gym to achieve their goals. I think that it takes courage to face your insecurities, because courage isn't the absence of fear, but rather that how to move and continue to function while being terrified. So take that step of faith to address these insecurities rather than letting them continue to run you. It will only lead you down a terrible path of self-destruction, and I don't want that for y'all. I want you to love yourself, and loving yourself is not seeing yourself as perfect, but rather understanding that no human is perfect. I think we burden ourselves too much also, rather than trusting in God to handle our problems. You can't comprehend God. I'm going to make a video on that, as well as what to search for from God. A lot of people search for direct answers, and they think because they're suffering that God hates them. It's not the way it works. I'm not going to speak about that much here, but we also are born of sin. We're going to mess up. We're going to fail. And rather than letting that grow to make us insecure, we need to let that strengthen us. I think we need to stop looking for temporary escapes, getting high, eating junk food, getting drunk, doom scrolling on our phones all day, just doing things that everybody else does. You need to really take time to get to know yourself. If you're just a stranger to yourself, these insecurities are going to run you, and you're never going to know that you're even insecure. You're not going to know anything unless somebody points it out to you, and then you're going to have to work on your accountability and so forth. I think in due time, a lot of you will stop being insecure, but hopefully it's not because of learning the hard way. And that's speaking on relationships. On a personal level, I hope that you figure it out, because you have to solve problems in your mind. And you also can't repress trauma. You can't hold that in. So I think that also builds into a lot of insecurities, because somebody said something to you you didn't like, and now you think that is who you are, when it's simply an opinion. You could shatter at the words of somebody else who haven't lived a second in your life. And I think that's sad as well, because you shouldn't let people's words move you. Yes, mental abuse is real, but they are also merely words created into existence based off their emotions. Have your own emotions and let that shit go. Excuse me, but it's facts. So, in conclusion, question if these emotions are valid and challenge these negative thoughts because they shouldn't be there. Write down your insecurities so you can figure out how to approach them. Run back this video and see what I said so it can also, help you so it can plant that seed in your mind because it all starts in the mind. And I believe in every single one of you that you can stop being insecure. This isn't forever. You have to create your reality and you have to create the world that you live in. Don't accept where you are right now.